Hi everyone, and welcome to Tony Fox Tarot. Thanks for joining me today. Great to have you with me. Today's pick a card reading question is, what are their true feelings? Now we're going to look at how they feel, but also how they think, what their circumstances are. Essentially anything that might have a bearing on their connection to you. We're building a profile of the other person and getting an understanding as to what the forward thrust is in terms of where it's all going between the two of you. So before we get started, if you would like to go down below and hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon while you're down there. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. Please like and share this video where you can. It would be great to get me out there far and wide. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. Plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Now, before you on the screen, 4 different cards, each represented by a different crystal. And the idea is to choose a card with a crystal that has a strong resonance for you. So card number 1 is the green fluorite. Card number 2 is the citrine. Card number 3 is the moonstone. And card number 4 is the lapis lazuli. I like to do a bit of a guided meditation. Quick one, just to get things started so that you can make a choice. Now, feet firmly on the ground and taking in a nice deep breath. And as you release the breath, letting go of any tension that you might be holding from within. And drawing in another nice deep breath. And as you release the breath, just clearing the mind. Now drawing your attention back to the screen, looking at the 4 different cards here with the different crystals, which has the strongest resonance for you. Is it card number 1 with the green fluorite, card number 2 with the citrine, card number 3 with the moonstone, or is it card number 4 with the lapis lazuli? So down below, 4 different timestamps representing each of the different cards and crystals. If you would like to go to the card that you chose, I'll be with you in a moment. Hi everyone, this is card number 1. This is the green fluorite, and today's pick a card reading question is, what are their true feelings? Now, let's get the cards straight out on the table and look and see what's going on. We've got the Lovers, Queen of Cups, the Hierophant, Page of Cups, sorry, Page of Wands, not Cups, the Hermit, 3 of Pentacles, the Sun, 4 of Swords. Wedding, this situation involves marriage. Abundance. And Rose Quartz. Wedding, this situation involves marriage. Okay, so if I come straight up here to the Hierophant and the Page of Wands. The Hierophant is a card of tradition, it's a card of marriage, it's a card of commitment. It's sort of very formal in its meaning of a relationship, you know, traditional values in some cases, but it certainly is about contracts and settling down into a relationship where you're binding things together. But it's paired with the Page of Wands, and the Page of Wands is about new opportunities. There's a lot of energy in Wands, and the Page of Wands is about career and the direction of your career, often taking a different career direction. It's a card that has a far-flung appeal. It's a far-reaching card. The page is looking far ahead into the distance. So often it's about opportunities that lay somewhere else that might take you in a different direction. It's also, because there's a lot of energy in the Page of Wands, so it's also about getting out there and really burning that off in a way where you're very creative and getting into, I guess, a situation where you can see the world in some ways. I feel that this person at this time is unable to make a formal commitment, to settle down. that they have some kind of an opportunity, perhaps a job, that is going to take them either to a different place or distract them in a way where they can't be with you. My sense was that for some of you that this was definitely going to be long distance, that long distance would be involved. For me, this was a long-term commitment. It would be sort of a minimum of 2, maybe even 3 years, perhaps. So it was a big deal. And I'll tell you why I feel that it's a big deal. Because if I come over here to the Lovers and the Queen of Cups, I feel that these two cards, once again, they represent this person in a way where, you know, it really expresses how they really feel about you. This is somebody who loves you very much. The Queen of Cups is a card of mature feelings, mature love, okay? And it's a very nurturing card, very caring card. It really thinks about other people in a way where it provides a lot of care, a lot of nurturing. It's quite healing energy as well. And it's with the Lovers, and the Lovers is all about intimate relationships, about love and sharing and coming together and, you know, basically unifying through the experience of love. So I do feel that this person is quite devoted to you, yeah? Very, very loving of you, really thinks about you. The Lovers is also a card of decisions, yeah? And they're making, obviously, some important decisions at this time in their life that are going to affect you. They're very concerned about what that means for you. You are very much at the center of their world in terms of making this decision. So there's no doubt about it. You know, this person is right in there, wants to be with you, wants to continue on with you in terms of a loving relationship. However, they have opportunities that are available to them that would actually take them away from being able to make I guess a commitment to you, you know, from a sort of day-to-day level. If I come down here to the Sun and the Four of Swords, I feel these two cards represent you. And I think that whatever it is that's happened here, it's really given you cause to sort of have some time out. You're sort of very, I guess, retracted. You've pulled back in a way where you don't have a lot of energy to put into what's going on at the moment because you're really trying to figure out what it is that is going on. So you're letting things sift down. I think first and foremost, you're thinking, well, what about my own happiness? What about me? Where does this leave me? The Sun is a card of happiness. The Four of Swords is a meditative card. It's about taking time out. It's about resting. It's about letting things sift through. But the Swords are also about issues. So this has obviously brought up some issues for you. Because what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to sit around waiting? Are you supposed to twiddle your thumbs until it all gets back into place so that you can both begin to explore a relationship in a way that actually takes you to perhaps where you'd want to go? I think the other thing here is also the Sun is about children. It's a card of having kids, fulfillment through having children. So perhaps you're also looking at your own timeline. You know, firstly, you're going to be left alone, but what about the timeline of having children? And there's uncertainty here. It's like, when is this all going to happen? You know, I think that the way things seem to be have evolved, this person obviously is very invested in you. I think the next step would be to actually make that commitment, either in terms of marriage or having children. For some of you, not everybody. But in any case, you know, this is definitely about settling down. And, you know, at the moment, this person is looking to take hold of an opportunity that's actually going to take them, you know, in the opposite direction. They're going to be very distracted with what's going on. Possibly it could be long distance, lots of traveling. Maybe they're out in the world, maybe they're overseas. And in any case, you know, it's a big commitment that will take a lot of energy for them. I think you have to look at the big picture here, because if you get caught up in the small, you know, now experience, you know, you're going to take it at face value. And at the end of the day, I think, you know, this is where you really need to ask yourself how you really feel, which I think is exactly what you're doing. But it shouldn't necessarily be based on how the other person feels. The other person is definitely in love with you. I think that whatever it is that they're doing here, okay, they're doing it for the long-term success of the relationship with you, okay? The Hermit, Three of Pentacles. The Hermit is a card of time. It's about a long distance, okay? But it's also about, and it's a card of experience, of development, of growing and reflecting and understanding what it is that you are doing and your place in terms of, especially in terms of this particular relationship. And this person really wants to lay down a very solid foundation in terms of finances. They really want to build things up in terms of an opportunity to really get money in the bank. I think, you know, they're very materially focused on getting everything into place so that there's really solid ground, really dependable ground in terms of a financial and material outcome as to taking hold of this particular opportunity. Three of Pentacles is a card of building foundations. It's also about work. I think this is a card of on-the-job training, or being, in some cases it's apprenticeships, but it's also about development, the development of skills, and perhaps, you know, the commitment to this particular job opportunity or to this opportunity, whatever that might be, might give them experience that really helps them to put down a solid foundation in terms of their longer term future. They're a much more bankable or dependable person in terms of what it is that they've actually derived from this particular experience. Coming down here to Abundance. This is a card of harvesting plentiful bounty, okay? It's all about the cycle of growth. And that's what this is about for this particular person. They're looking at the rewards that can be derived from this particular opportunity. And this is also a card of patiently nurturing and removing obstacles as they arise. I think this is somebody who would really work around all of the tricks that might, or all of the obstacles that might come up here in terms of what would get in the way to sort of continue on building on this relationship. You know, if there was going to be anybody that was going to ever give it the best possible go, this would be the person, because their focus is really solely on, everything they're doing here is really based on you and what they want to have with you. At the same time, they see that this is an opportunity that will actually give them such enormous rewards that they can't let that go. Coming over here to Rose Quartz. This is a card of love. This kind of builds on everything I've been saying, really. It's a card, it's a love stone, yeah? But it's about giving love to other people. It signifies very, very strong focus on relationships, enjoying relationships with your existing partner. It's all about acting out of love, okay? And everything this person, as I've already described, everything that they're doing is really based on their love for you and building a future with you. The one thing I would say about Rose Quartz is also a card of nurturing the self, of self-love, because quite often, and I can see already, this is somebody who really puts everybody else first. You know, this is somebody who thinks about everybody else's needs. There's a real healer in this person. And, you know, the choices that they're making for you and for everybody else, it's all about everybody else. And it's not always about them as being number one, even though it might seem like it is, with them perhaps getting caught up in this particular opportunity. But underneath that, they're really doing that. They're really doing that for you. And I would say that what's really important here is that this person needs to put themselves first on occasion, because there is a lack of self-love here. It's all quite selfless. It's all about everybody else. Look, I felt that this was a long-term commitment in terms of what they were doing. And it really comes down to whether you can last the distance based on what your criteria is. I know that there's a lot of uncertainty here, particularly for some of you who might be wanting to have kids, but also about the idea of being alone, you know, and what do you do? But if you love this person, okay, as much as it is that they love you, if you feel equal within that reciprocation of love, then for me it would be a no-brainer, because you would just have to give it a go and see how it would work. This is somebody who will try really hard to meet you at a level that will actually give you what you want, what you need to sustain you. They will make decisions that will actually always put you first. At the same time, everything they're doing is really for the long-term future of building a solid foundation and getting the rewards to bring back to the relationship in a way where you can build on that for a very promising future. He's a very hardworking person who has to unfold this in a way where this opportunity in a way where, you know, they would be so sorry if they never did it. But I think there is abundant rewards. It's sufficient rewards to make it worth its while. If you can last the distance, this is somebody who will actually get down hand on knee and make that proposal. There's no doubt about it. But it comes back down to you and whether this is something that you can handle. Can you handle the isolation to some degree? You know, over, and I would have said this is sort of 1, 2, 3 years. You know, like this, for me, this kind of feels like it's a, you know, like it's a solid commitment over a few years at least. Guys, I hope this has made some sense to you. And if it has, please leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Please do subscribe to my channel and tap on the bell icon while you're there. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. Like and share this video where you can. It'd be great to get me out there far and wide. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. Plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service. And just on a final note, I release videos to YouTube each and every week, so feel free to browse the ones that I've already posted and keep an ear and an eye out for the ones that I post in the future. Thanks very much. Take care. Hi everyone, this is card number 2. This is the Citrine, and today's pick a card reading question is their true feelings. What are their true feelings? Let's get the cards straight out and see what's going on. We've got the Hierophant, 4 of Cups, the Devil, 10 of Cups, Death, 2 of Cups, the Star, Ace of Cups, free yourself, self-love, and selenite, peace, crown chakra, death, and the 2 of Cups. And I feel there is a strong bond here between the 2 of you. I think this is a very close connection. I want to say that the 2 of you have both been through some very difficult times in your lives, that you both faced adversity. I think until you met each other, maybe a lot of everything wasn't making sense. Get a feeling of sort of, you know, treading water and trying to find your way, and then you've come into each other's lives in a way where you've both found solid ground and you've been able to sort of express your individuality, to heal, to be heard, to be witnessed, to be seen. There's a lot in this connection. It's a very deep one. I think the 2 of you would do everything for each other. I think you would die for each other. I think that the 2 of you are very deeply bonded, and I think there's a lot of respect between the 2 of you. I think first and foremost, you respect each other as people. There's none of this sort of, I guess, corniness about the connection. It's real, it's tangible, and it doesn't buy into the Hallmark card sort of point of view. Now, coming over here to the Star and the Ace of Cups, 2 important cards that I feel reflect your position and where you're at. I think you're really wanting to move forward with this person in a way where you establish a new life, really, a new beginning. I have to be honest with you, I also question whether having a child was a question. Ace of Cups can be a card of children, of becoming pregnancy. The Star is a card of hopes and dreams and wishes. It's a manifestation card, you know, projecting into the future about what it is that you want. I want a new beginning with emotional fulfillment, but perhaps also about children. It could be for some of you, not everybody. But I feel that there's been some resistance, okay? the Hierophant and the Four of Cups. I feel this is getting onto the energetic kind of slipstream of this other person. And I feel that there's been a lot of resistance to making some sort of a commitment on that level. This person's quite anti-establishment too. I don't feel they buy into the church or into traditional values in any way. They're not... I also wonder whether they'd had some previous relationships that had come near to marriage. Or for some people, it might be that this person has actually been previously married and it failed. In which case, they're just like, no, don't want to go there. But the idea of committing in a way where it sort of mirrors or mimics the idea of sort of traditional values is just something that really switches this person off. Coming over here is the Devil and the Ten of Pentacles. I feel this expands on that idea. Ten of Pentacles is a card of family, family values, family traditions. It's also about inheritance and money. Living up to expectations of families. It kind of reflects what I've just also seen here with the Hierophant, you know, anti-establishment stuff. It kind of filters into this. In fact, it stems from this, is what I would say. I get a sense that this person has had a difficult upbringing. The Devil is about difficult relationships, toxic relationships. Maybe this person has never really been heard, never been listened to, never really been accepted for who it is that they really are. There's been I get a feeling there's been a great expectation on them being something that they haven't turned out to be, and therefore there's a disappointment to maybe to their family. It's led to a lot of mistrust. A lot of mistrust on both sides. I always said nobody's ever stood up for them and believed in who it is that they really are in terms of their authentic self. That's something I want to say again. Authentic self, very important to this person. And I think as a result, this person just cannot stand fakery. They're also very frightened that they'll have their freedom taken away, and perhaps making a more formal commitment would be a part of that picture. Feeling that, maybe I'll lose something of myself, that I'll have my freedom taken away. That's quite strong, actually. But they also don't want to feel trapped. They don't like being told what to do by people. I think they hate being told what to do by their family. They hate being told what to do by society. They don't like being restricted, to be pulled back. This is a person who really encourages freedom, but also loves to have their own freedom. Important stuff. Now, free yourself. It's time to take back control of your life. A part of that is about this person's history. Feeling fenced off, feeling that they can't be their unique self. Feeling that they don't have control. Feeling they need to somehow take something that they've lost back. Perhaps they've lost something to their family, lost something to society, lost something to their upbringing. Which is interesting because it actually brings us to here, to self-love. And self-love is all about the inner child. This happens when you grow up too quickly or where there's a limited childhood. I don't feel like this person's had much of a childhood. I don't feel like they've had love or attention. I don't feel like they've been lavished in that creative, joyful experience of just being themselves, Self-love. Where is their self-love? They've never learnt how to love themselves. They've only ever been a disappointment, a failure in somebody else's eyes. And it's time to take that back. Time to take that back. To be playful, just to be curious, to be yourself, to be your true authentic self. Okay? But issues around safety, security, acceptance, and surety, especially, they really need to be worked on in this person. They need to, well, and that brings me over here to selenite, peace, crown, because peace is what this is all about. Because I feel that this person is carrying pain still. This is about creating a safe and quiet space, either in the home or in an environment where you are. to be able to relax, you know, and free your mind, to let go, essentially. You know, this is about meditation and breathing, giving yourself the safety and the security that you need so that you can affirm yourself and attract positive energy, okay? And that will allow you to see situations much more clearly, much more peacefully. So therefore, this resistance that I'm feeling in terms of what the commitment means in terms of the next step between the two of you, but also to where they're going in their life, will begin to unfold in a way that is much more free, much more easy. And I feel that the two of you, the one thing I also wanted to say, I feel that perhaps there was one person that really did believe in this person, maybe in the context of their childhood, but I had a feeling that maybe for some of you that this person has lost the one person from their past who actually really believed in them, the person that they could confide in, the person that they could talk to. The person that was there for them. I wouldn't have said that this was central to their experience, but there was somebody there for them. I just get a feeling that there's been some sort of a loss, that there's grief. Grief from their history in terms of family, but also the grief of having lost somebody who was there for them until more recently. So I kind of feel that this person is still going through a very difficult time, and, you know, that there are some really sort of difficult challenges as a part of that upheaval that grief does bring, and that there is some more healing that needs to take place, which would make a lot more sense as to why selenite is a really key card here about creating, you know, the safety and the security of a quiet space, you know, and affirming yourself in a way where, because that will bring in the healing energy as much as it will bring in the affirming of oneself. So this is a very core and fundamental, I guess, thrust in terms of what we're talking about. This is not just circumstantial day-to-day reading stuff that you usually have. This is about getting deep into the psyche of the other person in a way that is really enabling some deep healing to take place. At a time where I kind of feel that there is still some major transitional stuff going on in terms of loss or grief, either from the loss of this person or from their history. But I really do feel that the time has come where they need to address what it was that they have lost in their childhood, which was a very lost childhood. The inner child hasn't had the self, not even the self-love, but the love and the affirming love of a family. So I feel that there's a lot of really positive and constructive stuff to work here with. I feel the two of you will see this through. And I think that you would be there for this person in any case, that this is just sort of kind of, you know, maybe affirming what it is you already know. Well, I hope it does. So I feel that this is something that you can move through, but I also feel that this person is receptive to hearing this, to hearing where it is that they need to go, that they would be guided to that place to make or to address resolution at a deep core and fundamental level. You know, this is not about just getting what you want in terms of a commitment for the future. The one other thing I wanted to say also was this idea about, perhaps for some of you, about the idea of a child or getting pregnant. You know, maybe there's resistance from this person in terms of, you know, going down that particular pathway. But again, it stems from their own childhood, from the difficulties that they've had as a child. And once again, working through those issues, as suggested, could really help to kind of expand on that in a way where there is healing so that you can move through that particular issue. Guys, look, I hope this has made some sense to you, and if it has, please leave some feedback down below. It'd be great to get your comments. Tap on hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon, give you notifications for any future readings that I post. Please like and share this video where you can. It'd be great to get me out there far and wide. If you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.campbell, tonyfoxtarot.com. Plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. And just on a final note, I release videos each and every week to YouTube, so feel free to browse the ones that I've already posted and keep an ear out or an eye out for any that I release in the near future. Thanks very much. Take care. Hi everyone, this is card number 3. This is the Moonstone, and today's reading is their true feelings. So what are they really feeling deep down there? Let's get a look and see what's going on with card 3. So we have the Devil, 7 of Swords, the Emperor, King of Swords, Tower, 4 of Pentacles, Death, 6 of Swords, Moonstone, Moon Cycles, Crown Chakra, Base Chakra, and Reflection. Drawn up here to the Emperor and the King of Swords. I feel this is somebody who has really cut away in a very kind of cold and very clinical way. They really isolated themselves into a position where they have essentially, it's like they've given up really. And I feel that this is a very private person. This is somebody who really lives in their mind, yeah. Very withdrawn at the best of times. Very intelligent, strong, masculine type. Can be very controlled about everything, really. I think they're very controlled about how people see them. Very controlled about other people. Very controlling as a person as well. This is somebody who likes to be in control. It's a definite, strong, I would have said manipulative energy here. There's something a little bit, what you see isn't what you always get. And a part of that's because, you know, they're not articulating fully what's going on, but also, do they want you to see everything it is that is going on within them? I think perhaps not. If I come down here to Death and the 6 of Swords, I feel that these 2 cards symbolize you. I think that whatever the connection is with this person, I think it has really met some huge obstacles, and I don't think it's been easy being with this person on any level. I think they've been very challenging for you personally. I think they've thrown a lot at you to deal with in a way that, you know, you always come out of it feeling that you're having to sort of overcompensate to make things right, to get things to the next point. I don't feel this person's particularly helpful in terms of trying to move the connection forward in any way. It always feels that you're left kind of, you know, having to take it on in a way where you're then trying to sort of find resolution within yourself, as opposed to finding resolution with each other or finding resolution for them. But I think you know, this person has certainly thrown a lot in your way, and in some ways I think they've pushed you away, but you haven't given up on them. I think part of what it is that you see a lot of pain in this person, a lot of suffering, and I think you want to be there for them because you don't want to give up on them. I think that's essentially what I take from this is, you know, there's this strong sense of not wanting to give up, that, you know, you need to be there for this particular person. Very, very difficult. I think trust is a big issue for this individual. My sense is that right from the start, there has been problems for them in terms of being able to rely on other people, to depend on other people. And I would say this goes right back into, perhaps even into childhood, if not into their very early years. I think when the chips have been down, there's been nobody to turn to in a way that gives them support. And they have never really had anybody who has invested into them in a way where they can really, I guess, thrive at an emotional level. Because these are all swords here. And I'm not seeing any cups. I don't see any emotional sort of, you know, development or evolution in terms of this person's capacity to be able to connect in an honest way that comes from a heart level. You know, it's really a very withdrawn energy that's very much in the psyche. They really live in their minds. They're very detached from how it is that they feel about what's going on around them. But a lot of this is all based on mistrust. And I feel that they've really tried to sort of push you away, yeah? To pull away into themselves. And they've got very strong private boundaries. They don't like to share at an intimate level. They don't like to share what's really going on for them. They're very self-protective. In some ways, if I come over here to the Tower and the Four of Pentacles, you know, the Tower is about decay. It's about everything, you know, falling apart in a way where, you know, it's a very difficult energy to deal with, in as much as when the Tower falls, there's no putting it back together. It's irreconcilable in some ways. And I think that that's what this person has felt. They've never had anybody else to depend on. You know, they've always had to. The Four of Pentacles is very much a card of selfishness, of looking after the self at a material level, but also closing down the energy and really consolidating into oneself. I feel that this person, you know, knows how to look after themselves very well. They know how to depend on themselves in a way where they can give themselves stability and security. And they know not to depend, well, through their experience, they know that they don't want to depend on other people, because essentially other people are not always there for them, or in their experience have never always been there for them. So there's a lot of challenging energy here. A lot of challenging energy for you, because you're not somebody who wants to give up on them. Very challenging in as much as they pulled away, in that they don't trust other people to be there for them. I think because of that, there are some issues there, just in terms of their boundaries. They are very deeply insecure, and they do feel threatened very easily. So this thing about trust is really strong. I think the moral compass can be a bit off as well. They don't feel that other people are there for them, and so they don't feel that they should act in a way that has consequence to other people. They can be a little bit manipulative, a bit crafty, a bit sneaky. Over here to the Devil and the Seven of Swords, this is definitely somebody who would go behind your back. Definitely somebody who would sneak around and, you know, get what they need without you knowing about it. So it's not just trust outwardly, it's trust coming from other people. I mean, can you trust this person? I mean, this person I feel has proven themselves to be untrustworthy. Does that mean you should give up on them? Well, I don't think anybody should ever give up on anybody, because at the end of the day, there's always a reason for something, okay? And if you get down to the core level, this person has some very damaged experiences right from a very, very early stage that has taught them through experience that people aren't always there for them, and they've had to learn how to look after themselves. Coming over here to base chakra. This is, you know, coming at it from a very spiritual point of view, but it's a card that shows a disconnection from reality, and it creates a lot of distance when it's out of balance. You know, our base chakra, the Muladhara, is the root chakra. You know, it can show a lot of, there can be a lot of low enthusiasm, you know, a need for constant stimulation. I do have some anxieties about this person, in as much as I think that there is a tendency maybe to to look towards coping mechanisms that might give them a sense of stimulation, positive stimulation. Drugs, alcohol, it could also be sex as well. I mean, like, you know, a lot of sort of very, you know, needy kind of fillers that really take away the pain, that take away the sort of illusion that there is, that maybe that there's no hope. I mean, I don't say that it's that despairing, but there's definitely a sense of doubt there for this person, especially when it comes to connecting to other people. You know, doubts around belief in terms of long-term commitments. But it's definitely a card that points to overindulgence in pleasure, okay, if the energy imbalance is there. And I do feel that that is the case for this particular person. So I think also the other card here, which is very important, is Moonstone, which is about moon cycles, crown chakra. It's really about rebalancing the mind and the body, you know, about, you know, and this is really a card of healing, which may be sort of, you know, like of interest, but also, you know, relevant, you know, interest to you, but also relevant to this particular person, as much as they have, you know, a need to rejuvenate, to rebalance this base chakra, yeah. And the way to achieve that is really with lots of deep rest, lots of deep sleep, listening to the physical body, paying attention to nature's cycles, and, you know, really connecting in with that grounding energy that helps you to sort of realign yourself and connect you to the mind, the body, and the spirit. They really, you know, are at a crisis point, I feel, in terms of needing to address a balance in their systems, you know, from a holistic point of view. Coming over here to reflection. This is a card about having time out, okay? Now, this person by nature is very withdrawn. But reflection kind of, you know, expands on the idea of this, is, you know, in as much as this is also highlighting the cautiousness of other people, yeah? The need to step away and to have time out from other people because they feel emotionally vulnerable, yeah? But it's also a card, once again, that's sort of indicative of addiction and manipulation. You know, this idea about abuse is also a very big theme in this particular card. Perhaps this person has actually had an abusive background. Perhaps as they're, you know, in their childhood or in their early years or throughout their life, they've been prone to abusive behaviors by other people. But I also feel that in turn, this person could also be quite abusive. You know, that you would have to be very careful. It's quite a manipulative energy here. Very strong, crafty, sneaky energy. There's definitely acts of deceit here. And a real sense of needing to be very private. But coming back here, back to reflection, you know, it's again, it's this need to sort of listen to instincts and understanding that, you know, understanding things from an emotionally vulnerable point of view, which is essentially what I get. So, you know, how does this person really feel about you? They're guarded. You know, their trust is completely lacking in anybody. They don't trust anybody. You know, they are very isolated and they feel very defensive. You know, this is a person who's always looking over their shoulder and expecting the worst to happen. They feel that they can only rely on themselves, that they will be the person that is only ever going to be there to pick up the pieces and actually make things good. And I think that the difficult part here is that you don't want to give up on this person. And I don't think that you should give up on this person, but I think that you should also keep an eye on things realistically, from the point of view that this is somebody who has to make the first steps towards rebalancing themselves, towards healing themselves. You know, and in order to do that, they need to be vulnerable. They need to open up. This is not somebody who wants to open up. They're very closed. You know, there's a lot going on there underneath the surface, okay? Once again, not saying you should give up on this particular person, but I think it's also important to be realistic about what the limitations are in terms of evolving this particular connection. And this person needs to figure themselves out. They need to figure things out for themselves. This is really about their journey, about their journey towards defining who it is that they are and giving themselves what they need in order to get on top of it. Anyway, guys, I hope this reading has made some sense to you, and if it has, please leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. It'd be great to get me out there far and wide. Please do subscribe and tap on the bell icon while you're there. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the service that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.20foxtarot.com. Plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. And just on a final note, I release videos each and every week to YouTube, so please feel free to browse those that have already been posted and keep an eye out for the ones that I release in the future. Take care. Bye-bye. Hi everyone, this is card number 4 and this is the Lapis. So let's get the cards out on the table. Today's reading question is, what are their true feelings? Now we have the Star, 5 of Wands, the Lovers, the 9 of Swords, the Hierophant, the 7 of Cups, the Hermit, 3 of Cups, Community, Calcite, calmness, all chakras, heart-to-heart conversations, honestly discuss your feelings with each other. And I'm drawn straight away to the Lovers and the 9 of Swords. And I feel these cards reflect the other person who seems to just be quite debilitated about making any, I guess, any idea as to where they want to go in this particular relationship. The Lovers is obviously about relationships, intimate relationships. It's also a card of choices. The 9 of Swords is a card of anxiety and fear in a debilitating way. There's an inability to see what's in front of you, really. Perhaps what I'm feeling here is they're not seeing you. This person's just not seeing you for who you are. They're not seeing what's going on in this relationship. They're not looking to make any decisions or choices that take you and them constructively forward, but at the same time they're also not looking constructively forward into anything for themselves either. I think this person they're not in a great place within themselves, and that has a big impact. It has a big impact on what's going on in terms of your ability to make a commitment to each other. If I come down here to the Hermit and the 3 of Cups, I feel these 2 cards reflect you. And I think for you, the Hermit is a card about quite a lengthy period of time. Perhaps the 2 of you have been seeing each other for quite a while. You're also, the Hermit's also a deeply reflective card. It's an insightful card of, going into this soul-searching process of trying to understand, what's going on with any given focus. And I think for you, you've been really doing a lot of deep soul searching on where this particular connection is going. Does it have a future? The 3 of Cups is a card about happiness and rewards. Does this relationship have or this connection have a potential to actually reach that particular goal or that particular experience of just being happy? I can see that the 2 of you as a combination. I mean, the Lovers is also about 2 people. I mean, the 2 of you, there seems to be a lot of frustrations going on between the 2 of you. A lot of worry, a lot of anxiety combined. 2 of you seem to also be unable to make decisions where you're both on the same page. Seeing eye to eye. There's a constant indifference there. One person's got one perspective, the other person's got another. Not been able to make decisions that are unified that take you towards constructive outcomes. And the impact overall, I feel here, the Hierophant and the Seven of Cups. You know, the Hierophant is a card about commitment and devotion in a way where things become much more formalized in terms of a union with relationships. That could be about, you know, having a more formal commitment with each other, whether that's marriage or having a de facto relationship, or, you know, basically sort of combining your resources together, combining your efforts in a way that really, you know, where the relationship really binds the two of you together. And that's just not clear. This person, you know, when you put them on the spot to be able to try and get an answer to what's going on in terms of, you know, their commitment to the longevity and the I guess the nature of the relationship, you know, and its future, they just become very reactive, very emotionally bumpy about the whole experience. I think it stirs the pot for them. They just become very uneasy in a way where they really get a lot of mixed feelings. It really stirs the pot for them. They don't know what they want, essentially. They're unable to make a commitment in a way that articulates, or they're unable to articulate full stop any ability to or vision to see where this is all going. They don't know what they want. They really don't. This person doesn't know what they want. They're blinded by a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety about commitment. They're unable to see eye to eye with you. They're unable to make decisions that constructively take this connection forward. When it comes to really pinning them down about what the commitment is going to be for the future, you know, you just get a lot of, I would have said also mixed signals. 1 minute it's one thing, next minute it's another, then another. It's very inconsistent. This person is very inconsistent. Very inconsistent. And as a result of all of this, I think accumulatively, the relationship or the connection between the two of you has become very negatively charged, very negatively focused. This could result in arguments, certainly result in a lot of uneasiness between the two of you. I think one thing that does become very sort of striking about this character is that there's a real focus on other people and wanting to be somewhere else with other people. Maybe to be with friends or to socialize. The Star and the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands is a card of engagement with other people. It's about socializing. It's about being out there with your friends, being out there in the thick of it. It's also about going out and having fun with people in a way, constructively, but it's all about banter. Perhaps this person is always focused on, you know, because the star is a card of focus and manifestation, about hopes and dreams, about what you're wanting. Is the one thing that they do seem to be really clear about is actually being with friends, being out with people. Five of Wands is also a card of work. You know, this person could be really sort of happy when they're actually at work. Maybe there's a big focus about getting out and going to work, being with their work colleagues, maybe being out after work with their work colleagues, having drinks after work. Essentially, though, the focus is on other people, on other activities. You know, they're very clear on all of that stuff. And they enjoy that. It's an outlet for them. And if I come down here to community, this is a really important card that builds on this idea of being with other people. It's a card that is about learning from community connections. It gives your life a purpose. This person's not getting that constructive development within the connection, the relationship here with you. You know, they're focused on wanting to be in a part of a community. This is a card of feeling lonely and isolated, and it can make it difficult to connect with people on a personal level. Yeah. So you're trying to find your tribe, you know, and also you're seeking approval from other people. And I think this is a really key part to what I'm feeling here, is that this person doesn't feel validated in some way. They don't feel validated about themselves. They don't feel confident about making a commitment. They don't feel confident about seeing a future. They don't feel confident about making a decision based on progressively moving forwards with this particular connection. And as a result, they're diverting their focus into other activities that really preoccupy them and give them validation on a different level, whether that's friends, whether that's work colleagues and going out and being in the thick of it. You know, it's all about trying to find a way to channel your energy into a focus that actually gives you something back and makes you feel like you are filled with purpose. And the difficult part here is I think for a really long time, you've been feeling that this has just not been reaching a point that gives you any fulfillment. So my sense is that you're at the end of your rope on this particular issue. Coming down here to calcite, calmness, all chakras. You know, this is a card that says, you need to release the pent-up stress and emotions and anger that you're experiencing, which is a lot of what I'm feeling from this particular person. It's all pent up. There's no expression. There's no constructive outcome other than being with other people in a different situation. When it comes to the connection with you, everything is pushed down, bottled up. Things bubble up to the surface every so often. But, you know, this is far from being relaxed. This is far from being in tune. Calcite is a grounding stone that helps to open up and helps you to go with the flow. This person really needs to find a space where they are able to really tap into an inner calm. They need to address what's going on at a deeper level, but they're not going to do that off their own back. I don't feel this person has the insight at this particular time to be able to tap into what it is that's really going on and stopping them from being able to make any progress here. Heart-to-heart conversations, honestly discuss your feelings with each other. And I think this is the only way forward. The only way forward here is to discuss how you really feel with this particular person. To be honest. To get them to sit them down and to get them to listen to how it is that you really feel. To try and make an honest bridge over into what their experience is and why they are blocked in terms of moving forwards. Because at the end of the day, that is the only way you can move forward. I have a feeling that there are some deeply personal and very insecure experiences at the heart of this matter about this particular person that stops them from being able to become intimate. I think this is a person who feels very vulnerable, very insecure, very much needing validation, but uncertain how to actually communicate that within the context of a relationship. When they get close to another person, I think it becomes a very frightening experience that they don't know how to handle. They're not experienced. It presses a lot of buttons, perhaps because they don't feel confident as a person within themselves. And I think that this is very difficult to deal with. And I'm not saying that means you have to give up hope, but I think that this is also insight into the nature of what it is that they're really like. And if you can work with that slowly but surely, step by step, perhaps at some stage you can get to a point where you can gain their confidence and you can begin to build on that. But at this point in time, my sense is that this person is reeling. They're reeling from the idea of becoming close, becoming intimate, getting into the territory of opening up their heart and becoming vulnerable. And a part of the way to move forward to build on that is to calm things down, to find I guess a way to release what's all been bottled up and to begin to address what is seated at the heart of matters. And a part of what you can do there is begin to have an honest conversation. How far this person is willing to go, or whether they're really even ready to begin to address that at this time, I think that's a different story. And I would say that this is a step-by-step process of looking at how things develop and making assessments as you go along. If you're looking to be in a relationship with somebody or to make a connection with somebody where you're having that very easygoing, fluid, back and forth nature where things just develop and grow with ease, this is not the person. This is a challenging connection. There's a lot here to have to work on, and that is going to take a lot of energy, and it really boils down to love and whether you love this person. And if you love this person, then you'll make it a go of it. Yeah? But if you're not in that particular place, then it might be cause for assessment and to actually have a look at what you're getting out of this, because this is about you. It's not all about that other person. And I feel that this person is taking a lot of energy. Anyway, I hope this reading has made some sense to you guys. And if it has, please feel free to leave some feedback down below. It'd be great to get your comments. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. Please like and share this video where you can. It'd be great to get me out there far and wide. If you are interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. Plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my services as a psychic tarot reader. And on a final note, I release videos each and every week to YouTube, so feel free to browse the ones that I've already posted, and do keep an ear and an eye out for those that I post in the future. Thanks very much. Take care.